So, what stock is set to explode? Comment down below if you could guess the stock by the thumbnail. So, the stock that could explode is Apple. So, if you guessed Apple, good job, you were right. Do you guys use Apple products or do you own Apple stock? If so, comment down below. Make sure to sign up with my Webull link in the description below and get yourself some free stock. Anyways, so Apple's current market cap is $2.84 trillion. Their 52-week high is 199.62 cents. Their 52-week low is $143.14. They pay a quarterly dividend of 24 cents or a dividend yield of 0.52%. Now, looking at their annual revenue, in 2019, they made $260.17 billion. In 2020, they made $274.52 billion. In 2021, they made $365.82 billion. In 2022, they made $394.33 billion. In 2023, they made $383.28 billion. And just in case you don't know what revenue means, it's the total amount of money a company earns from goods and services. Now looking at their annual net income. In 2019, they made $55.26 billion. In 2020, they made $57.41 billion. In 2021, they made $94.68 billion. In 2022, they made $99.8 billion. And then in 2023, they made $97 billion. And just in case you don't know what net income is, it's what a business or individual makes after taxes, deductions, and other expenses are taken out. According to 41 analysts, 41% of them are saying to buy Apple. Now, what price target do analysts see Apple at? For the 1-year price forecast, the average price target is $201.08 with a high estimate of $250 and a low estimate of $158. Now looking at Apple on the technical analysis perspective, the current support level is 180, the current resistance level is 196 through 197. Support and resistance levels are important because they help when to enter a trade and when to exit out of a trade. That's why it's important to have a game plan using support and resistance. Try to be realistic where your support and resistance levels are at. So try not to overextend your support and resistance levels. What makes this a convincing buy is that there is an inverse head and shoulders pattern forming on the daily. You can see that today Apple has formed that second shoulder, which could mean a reversal to the upside. Just in case you don't know what an inverse head and shoulders pattern is, an inverse head and shoulders is a chart pattern seen when a security price falls and rises 3 times to form 3 successive troughs, the second of which is the deepest. If you look at the previous days of Apple on the daily chart, you can see that it's performing a triple bottom pattern as well. This could possibly lead to a reversal to the uptrend these upcoming days. So what is a triple bottom pattern? A triple bottom is a bullish chart pattern used in technical analysis that's characterized by 3 equal lows followed by a breakout above the resistance level. Sometimes it's best to look over a stock and see how it's done in the past, because sometimes history can repeat itself. Now, looking at this with the moving average indicators on the daily chart, you can see that Apple has broken through the 200-day moving average. But earlier that day, it tried breaking through the 180-day moving average, but got rejected, which caused for Apple to tumble that day. If you look at the past days, there's been at least 3 times where Apple's price action got rejected by the 50-day moving average. So what is the 50-day moving average? The 50-day moving average is considered the first line of support in an uptrend or the first line of resistance in a downtrend. Basically, if the stock's price moves below the 50-day moving average, it signals we're entering a downtrend. If the stock's price moves above the 50-day moving average, it signals we're entering an uptrend. If you look at the 9 and 20-day moving average, you can see that the 9-day moving average crossed over the 20-day moving average, in which a downtrend occurred. So what does it mean when the 9 crosses the 20-day moving average, or vice versa? If the 9-day moving average is over the 20-day moving average, the price is bullish. If the 20-day moving average is over the 9-day moving average, it means the price is bearish. In other news of Apple, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sells off some Apple stock. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sold off 10 million shares of Apple stock in the final 3 months of 2023, representing about 1% of its holdings in the company. Berkshire still owns more than 905 million shares of the company, worth about $174 billion. That represents 6% of all Apple shares and 1/5 of Berkshire's entire portfolio. Okay, so with their 905 million shares times the dividend that Apple just paid for this month, in total, their dividend pay is going to be worth $200,200,000. That just goes to show that that's the power of dividend investing. In other news, Apple nearly ready with AI tool to compete with Microsoft's GitHub Copilot. Apple is nearly finished making a new software tool for app developers that could rival Microsoft's GitHub Copilot and use artificial intelligence to predict and complete blocks of code, among other things. This is super good news not only for developers but for Apple as well, because this is another form of revenue that Apple is going to bring in. Now, moving forward, what would happen if you had invested into Apple for the long term? Let's take a look. Let's say you invested into Apple for 10 years with $1,000. Then let's say you contribute $500 into Apple monthly. By the end of the 10-year mark, your investment of $1,000 would now be worth $280,542. That is insane, because all you did was hold on to Apple for 10 years and let Apple do all the hard work for you. Now, if you had invested into SPY for 10 years with a small investment of $1,000, then let's say you contribute a monthly amount of $500 and reinvested your dividends to buy more SPY shares, by the end of the 10-year mark, your investment would be worth $129,933. That is also insane, because all you did was hold and reinvested your dividends back into SPY. This is the power of long-term investing. Meanwhile, if you had invested that money in a savings account, it would be nowhere what Apple or SPY could have given you over the 10-year mark. But what does everyone think about Apple? Do you see them having a good future, or do you think they will struggle? Let me know in the comments down below. This concludes the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Get yourself some free stock when you sign up with my Webull link in the description below. As always, guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. And as always, this is not financial advice.